All right, all right. Hi everyone, how's it going? Welcome to this short video, or it might be a long video. I'm not too sure. Well, welcome to this video. And what I wanted to do was because I've been building PYJUQUE, which is an open source algorithmic trading bot, yes, but also a bunch of algorithmic trading tools, basically. So it's not just a bot. Where you can put strategies, but it aims to become more than that. So recently I've been working on the order management feature, which allows which allows the bot to automatically place orders based on a strategy and remember them in a local database, and then exit those orders when the time is right. Now, in its current form is quite basic. It only places orders on the buy signal, and then it waits for the price to go up by a certain amount of percent, which the user would, which you, the developer, would input, and then it's gonna exit at that point. This is a simple feature, but I wanted to test it before I went forward and made it more complicated. What I'm gonna do after I test it is I want to enable a sort of OCO order type. One cancels the other. Um, OCO, what it does is, if you've bought a coin here, let's say this is the price that you bought it at, what OCO does is, using the same quantity of that coin, it automatically places two orders, one on a stop loss and one on a take profit, so that wherever your coin would go in terms of price direction, you would be covered. So you don't need to worry if you just put the take profit order. You don't need to worry that it might hit the stop loss, and because you don't have the order there, then you're gonna lose more money than you wanted to. And the same way, the same is the opposite way. You don't need to worry if you've only placed the stop loss, and then your order sort of goes and does this, right? Does a little bit of a price peak and then comes back down. You don't need to worry that you lost that opportunity. So a few exchanges have this feature available, but not all of them, and we wanted our bot to have it by default. So this is a feature that I plan to build next, but before we go there, I wanted to test it out a little bit. And it's uh, it's it's quite difficult to test uh, a bot that runs on live data, to really test it properly. So this bot in its current form is able to run live mode, but also simulation mode. And simulation mode means that you don't actually place the orders on the exchange. The bot acts as if you had assets on that exchange, and you would place those orders, but it just takes the market data and it figures out what your strategy would have done if it were to be run live. So in a way, it's at the moment it's kind of like a combination between simulation mode and forward testing. It's actually, that's what it is. It's forward testing. It it's Well, yeah, it's as back testing, but only more accurate because it's forward testing. It actually gets live data. So anyways, let me pull this up. Yeah, so this is where we left off. We had an order management module which had three main functions: the execute bot, which gets all the active pairs for a particular bot that we've selected, and for all of those pairs, if the pairs are active, it goes through all the active pairs and tries placing orders, tries entering positions according to our strategy. And next, it checks out all the open orders on our bot, and it looks through them, and it checks with the market what the status of those orders are, and it tries to exit them, sorry, if the time is right. So this is the basic loop of the order management system. And the try entry order function, as I said, it checks the signals, checks the strategy for signals, and if we have a signal on the very last candle, then we go in and buy, make a buy order according to the parameters that we specified for the bot before. And then if the order is successful, i.e. if the exchange returns a successful response, then we're good, and we can sort of save that. We can save that order in the database. Actually, I'm saving the order before in the database, but that's for a different reason. But if the order is successful, then I don't delete the order from the database. If it's not successful, then I'll delete the order from the database, and we're still active on that pair. But if we do place the order, then that pair becomes inactive, meaning that we won't trade on that pair anymore until we exit that order. That's what it does in a nutshell. And then try exit order. It checks checks all the exit orders, and if we've run it as a test, as a simulation order, what we're going to do is we're going to take the candles that happened in the market from the time that we placed that order up until the present time, and we see whether our price whether the price of the market hit our limit price for the order. So if the order was bought, we check that, and if it was bought, then we go forward in our simulation as if it was bought. So that's if it's a simulation. But if it's not a simulation, then we simply ask the exchange to tell us, hey, what's the status of this order, and then we know from that. And then if the order was filled, and if it was an entry order, so remember we have entry orders and exit orders. So if it was an entry order, then we place the equivalent exit order, and we place it at a profit target percentage above the entry level, I should say. And we place it, and if the exchange gives us a successful response, then we're good. Save it in the database, and then this order will be checked in the next loop to see if it was actually fulfilled. And if it was fulfilled, then entry order, exit order both fulfilled. That makes a successful trade, and we get some profit. And that's it for now. So what this thing doesn't have is the ability to also have a stop loss. So this is the next feature that I'm going to build, as I mentioned. But for now, I just want to test what I've built so far. So let's do that. Okay, so before I do that, there's a little bit of these functions would look nicer in a class of their own. So I'm gonna build an order management class out of these things. And as you can see, we're passing the session, the bot, and the strategy and the exchange, we're passing all of them to all these three functions. So why don't we just have a main order management class that takes these things in the beginning, takes the session, which is the thing that connects us to the database, the bot and the exchange and the strategy, takes them all in the beginning, and it just saves them locally, and then it can allocate them, pass them to whomever, whatever function needs to be called. Okay, easy enough. And then in these functions, I'm just gonna pass self, so we don't need to, for try entry order, we only need to pass pair, and then for, where do we have self dot, self dot, and for try exit order, we only need the order. So try entry order, and self. Both session exchange and strategy. Okay. 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 I think this is good. I think this is everything that we need so far. So now that we have this order management class right here, we're gonna try and test it. So I've already started in writing a little bit of testing here, and so I'm using unit tests, and unit tests, well, I'm not very well versed in all the testing frameworks that exist out there on Python or on anything else really, but so far unit tests has been good, has been pretty much what I needed. Of course, I've also imported some other modules as well besides unit tests, so it doesn't have everything that it needs inside of it, so you need to import other things. But so far this I mean, this combination of unit tests and some other modules has been good enough for me so far. So I'll go through this and explain a little bit. So the very first things that we import here at the top, these things just allow us to call this function from the main folder from PYJUQUE. So because the way we run tests is simply from the main folder right here, PYJUQUE, we just write nose2 and then we run it. Not going to do that just yet. So that's what this does. Then we import SQL Alchemy related tools. Then we import unit test, mock. Mock allows us to mock certain functions, so the functions don't actually get called, but we can sort of say what return values we need those functions to have because of certain testing scenarios and so on. Time it. For some tests I might want to time some things. Patch, similar thing to mock. Freeze gun, freeze time. So this because we're dealing with time data, I've already saved some market data locally, so that we don't, every time we do a test, we don't need to pull data from the API, so we just have something saved locally. And freeze time allows, whenever we call datetime datetime or datetime.now or whatever time related function, is gonna freeze the time to whatever we specify it to, because the data that we got from that we saved locally from the API is is within certain time periods. So we want the time.now function to return a time that fits in that with that data that we saved locally. Then JSON, pandas, and datetime. And then we're importing Binance, and the strategy that we're going to test on is EMA crossover, a very simple strategy. Basically checks when a fast EMA crosses above a slower EMA, and that's a buy signal. Yes, that's a buy signal, and that's it for this strategy. Pretty simple, but good for testing. And also the plotter, because we might want to see some things in the final test. We're not gonna have the plotter, but until then we might need to see something. So that's it. And the setup function. So unit test has this sort of framework. You have a setup function and a teardown. The setup gets called every time before a test, and the teardown gets called every time after a test. So that just sort of helps us set up the environment for that particular test, and then tear it down. Then we have a few helper functions, the one that will get the database session, and one that will initialize the database. I might not actually need this because I'm going to initialize the database in all of my tests, in each of my tests. So I'm actually going to delete this. So just one that gets the database session right here. And then I have two tests so far. One, so in unit tests, all tests start with lowercase tests and then underscore your test name. I'm not sure if the underscore is necessary, but the functions need to start with the word test. So in my first test, I initialize a session, and then I query because so the session should be empty. The database in that session should be empty, should have no objects in it. So I query the bot table, and I assert that there are no bots in there. that the length of all the elements in the bot table is equal to 0. That's the very first step. Next, we create a bot. We give it a name, code asset, and some information here, including that it's a test bot. We add it to the database, and then we commit it, and then we query the database on the bot that we've just created by asking it for a bot with the same name that we've given to this one. And then we assert that all the things that we've passed initially in this creation of the bot are still true. So all the parameters should be the same as the values that we passed. Profit loss by default is initialized to 100 in the models right here. Profit loss by default is initialized to 100. Yeah. So yeah, and then at the end, this could probably even come right here. We assert, after we've created a bot and added it to the database, we assert that the length of all the bots in the table, in the bot table, is equal to 1. Yep. So that's the first bot. I think this passes. I'll check in a second. And then the second bot, we actually want to simulate a trading scenario. So I went ahead and created the same bot and added it to the database, and then I created a pair on that bot. So I've given it the bot ID of the bot that we created, and a symbol is a.btc. It actually doesn't matter what symbol it is, because we're going to mock the function that gets data from the exchange, and we're gonna simply tell it to return the local data that we saved in this right here. So I have some local data here. Tests. So we have both examples, graphs, and tests. So inside tests we have data and then a bunch of tests. So data, we have a.btc 1 minute, 1000 data elements, I believe. Yes, 1000, and I think it's 1 minute. No, it's actually 15 minutes. It's 15 minutes, but it doesn't matter anyways. So we have a bunch of data here. Also BTC USD, 1K data points, and then 10K data points. So we've saved them here locally, and and we have initialized them in the setup function. We've initialized them to be right here in this objects. Read CSV. I wonder if that returns a data frame or not. I think it does. Anyway, we'll see. If it doesn't, we'll fix it. So we've created a bot, a pair, and we're testing a little bit to see that the length of all the pairs inside our session database is 1, because we just created 1, and also that the symbol of that pair is a.btc. Next, we initialize our strategy and setup. And setup means that we pass it a data frame, and we initialize the indicators on that data frame. So we have 2 EMAs, and this setup will calculate the indicator, the EMAs given the data frame, and save it in this data frame. Then we're just gonna plot it to see how it looks like, and we should see the candlestick pattern and then 2 EMAs above and below the price. And then we're gonna mock our try entry order function, and we're going to also mock the get symbol K lines. and then specify as return value for get symbol k lines. We're gonna specify the local data that we've saved, and then we're gonna execute the bot and assert that try entry order was called one time. So I need to change something here because we have just updated our order management class to have an actual order management object. So I'm going to update the test as well, the second test. I'm gonna update it. So up the top here, instead of importing these three functions, I'm just gonna import order management, and I don't think I need backtest, but I'll just leave it there for now. So we've created a session, we've created a strategy, and we have an exchange. So what I want to do is I want to initialize this order management object. OM is order management of just a second. In engine, from order management, I need to import order management. Yes, and I think this should do it. So this order management is the class. Yeah, good. Okay, so what did we have to initialize it with? Session, bot, exchange, and strategy. Cool. So actually we have this here. Session, bot, exchange, and strategy. Cool. And execute bot only takes self. That's good. All right. So I'm gonna say om dot try entry order. Is that correct? Dot. Oh, for some reason we're getting something else. But let's see if it works. And if not, we'll try and fix it. So I'm gonna mock the try order management function, and then I'm gonna call execute bot, and then I'm going to assert that om dot try order management was called one time, because we have one pair on the bot, and it's active, and the bot calls for every of its active pairs. When we call execute bot, it calls this order management try entry order, calls it one time. So let's see. This might not be correct right now, but this is the direction we're going in, and this is the process that we're taking as well. So I'm showing you these things. All right. Okay, so we have an error there. We have an error in simulated trading. Okay, which is right here. ADA-bot get active pairs session dot all. So what this means is that so we've run here, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tests. Actually, it just says here ran 6 tests, and we only had error on one test. Everything else was successful. So that means that this test right here was successful, which is good. So this was, whoops, this was successful. This was a successful test, so that's great. The other tests that we're running are this one, actually no, not this one, this one's 1, 2, 3, 4 other tests. These have to do with Binance. So so we're running 4 other tests because we're running all the tests. and only one of them is problematic, and it's this one. So right here, get active pairs. Oh yeah, we don't actually need to write all there. Okay, let's try again. Okay, another error, same place. EMA crossover has no attribute evaluate. Okay, yes. So where we get the signals list, we shouldn't run evaluate, we should just run check by signal. And this should be called get by signals list, but get signal list should suffice for now. Oh, we're calling it here. Okay, let's just say get by signals list. Save it, go here, EMA crossover, get by signals list, because this is the way we structure all our strategies. So we gotta be consistent. And then get indicators. All right, let's try and run it again. Okay, it's running. All right, so okay, cool. So it looks like we have two SMAs, EMAs, SMAs. I call them SMA, but they're probably EMAs. And yeah, you can see them right here, the two blue lines, and you can see whenever we have a crossover, just the candle after, we get a buy signal. So let's see, crossover, buy signal, crossover, buy signal, cross under, no signal, and then crossover, buy signal. Yeah, so it's looking good, at least so far. And it seems like everything else was passed. So we plotted it just to see how it looks like, but the important bits were here, I suppose, and also here. So we only have one pair, which was ADA-BTC, and we call this try entry order only once. So that's good. That's good. This is a very basic test, and it obviously doesn't go in detail, but it's a start along the testing journey. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up here, guys. So again, testing is very, very, very important. My aim with PYJUQUE, as opposed to the other videos that I've made, to the other trading bots videos that I've made, is this PYJUQUE to actually be properly used in live production environments. So I'm gonna take my time with it, build it slowly, share some of the process with you. It's already out there on GitHub. It's called PYJUQUE, link down in the description, and I want to do it properly, and I will welcome any contribution from you guys, other developers, or even technical analysts, or traders more broadly. So I welcome contributions in the form of code, in the form of ideas, in the form of sharing your learnings with the community, but especially in the form of code. So yeah. Besides this, we have another few interesting features, one of which is the genetic algorithm for strategy optimization. It's also in this bot right here. We have a bunch of feature branches, and these are two of them. Yeah, so I suppose what actually keeps me developing these bots is making these videos and developing it live, because I also want to share the journey with you, and let me know in the comments what do you think about this kind of videos, and yeah, stay tuned for more, and thanks for watching. Bye bye. Okay guys, one last thing before I go, I wanted to add is recently I've been working on this commercial bot, and it started off with the code that started all the initial bot series, and slowly making it better and crafting it and improving it. And right now what I'm doing is I'm taking some parts of the commercial bot and putting it into the open source bot, and I'm hoping that eventually the open source bot will be so well developed that I'm going to just use that as my basis for my commercial bot. But the reason why I'm telling you all this is because I'm very close to having finished an MVP for it, and I wanted to get some of you traders, especially, but also developers, if you are interested, to try and use it, to help me test it out for me. Obviously, with I have both simulation and live mode, so obviously not to have a large financial commitment with it because it's still in testing. That's the purpose of me saying this to you, but just to get a feeling of whether it's useful at all, and whether I need to maybe change some features or maybe change my whole thinking about this. I don't know. I'm not sure. There are a lot of other bots out there, and some of them have really big features. So at the moment, I'm not sure what I'm doing, whether I'm competing with them, whether I'm building something else. But it's been my sort of passion for some time to build products that people want to use, and at least it's been my goal. So this is me trying to do that, and of course, for the ones who will help me out with this, it's going to be completely free for you in the beginning, and I don't know if eventually I'm going to charge for it or not. If I will charge for it, I do promise that the ones who test it first will get benefits. I don't know what that's gonna mean. Maybe like half a year, 1 year free, um, extra features. I don't even know right now. I don't know if I'm gonna charge for it or not. Again, I have to figure out something that works for me and works for you as well. So that's what I'm trying to do. But let me just show you real quickly how that looks like. Okay, cool. So basically, this is what it looks like. At the moment, it has a few functions, a little bit of functionality. You can add your exchange credentials. You can create a bot, and you can create a strategy. Like, this is actually the most interesting feature of all, is ability to creating strategies. And you can create a strategy, for example, a very simple, the EMA strategy would look like EMA close, let's say 15. You want that to cross over EMA close 35, and let's check if it's good. And also we want to say that RSI of close 20 is above, is like above 30, for example. And we want to have a buy signal when both this happen, so A and B. And strategy name ESA crossover RSI plus EMA crossover. Just gonna name it like this, and save, and it should be good. And currently we support EMA, SMA, RSI, MACD, also lower Bollinger Bands and upper Bollinger Band, LBB and RBB. for strategies, and up to 6 conditions to start with. And if I want to create a bot, so initially I will have to create a strategy and then create a bot. And right here, let's check out the formula. If A and B, then buy. So EMA, crossover EMA, and RSI is greater than 30. So these are this is just a way to sort of showcase the strategy better. And then we can specify the bot name, obviously, allocation, how much we want to say, 1 BNB, and we can, so all of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the top 6 ones are they contain my credentials, these exchanges, but the very last one is simulated. So you actually don't need to upload your credentials if you want to test this bot in simulation mode. You can just select simulated, and then here we're going to select a pair. Currently it only works with one pair. Once all the bugs and everything is once all of them are fixed, then I'm going to move over to multiple pairs and also build other features. So so that's that. Select the pair. Next, and we have 2 things we can change here. The allocation per trade. So out of 1 BNB, how much do we allocate per trade? 49%. And if we enter below signal, so we don't enter exactly on signal, we place the price. We place our buying price a little bit below. So normally I just use 0.2%. And then profit target 1.2%. We want to have a stop loss of 90. It means at 90%, and we activate it immediately. This is actually gonna be used with trailing stop losses more than with stop losses when we're gonna have that. Then we submit. If everything is fine, this should work, I believe. And now we have our last bot here, and if we go into it, we can see that it's paused right now. We see again the strategy, the settings that we've put in, and we can see what the chart looks like. Yeah, and we can run it and get the status and also delete it. So guys, friends, if you'd like to help me testing this out, trying it out, obviously if you're not it'd mean a lot to me if you wanted to check it out and try it out. Obviously don't put a lot of money into it. Don't put any money at all if you don't want to. I don't want you giving away I don't want you giving me away your good strategies as well. So I mean of course I would love that, but you don't have to. So when you create a strategy, just create a simple one and just test it out, play with it. Let me know what kind of other features you'd like to see in it, if this is something that you would consider even using at all, and under what circumstances, obviously, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I just wanted to share this one with you because I've been working on it for quite a while, and learning as well while doing it, and it's been a nice, a fulfilling journey for me, and I think it will be even more fulfilling if this ends up actually being useful to some of you. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Shoot me an email or via Telegram or Discord if you'd like to test it out. If you have ideas about features or anything like that, let's keep the conversation going. Again, thanks for watching. I try to do videos more often now, and to engage with you guys via Discord, Telegram, and email. So yeah, until next time, have a good one.